Good evening and welcome to the Monday, December 4th meeting of the Hoover City Council. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Council President Lyda.
Here.
Council Pro-Tem Posey.
Here.
Councilmember Swiney. Councilmember Driver. Councilmember Murphy.
Present.
Councilmember Middlebrooks. Councilmember McClinton.
Here. With a slim quorum, we will proceed. If everyone would please stand for the invocation to be delivered by our clerk and remain standing for the pledge to be led by Councilor McClinton. I'd like to begin our meeting by calling on Mayor Burkado. I know he has a special guest in the chamber and a special recognition. Mayor.
What a special evening this is. We have the privilege of having our presence Miss Dorothy Plum. Dorothy is the mom of our former mayor, Barbara McCollum, and she has her son David here, his wife Wendy, great friend and former council member Donna Mazer with her husband Terry, and we want to honor her because she has hit quite a milestone, her 100th birthday. Not only that, we have a proclamation and another little gift that we want to give her. If she feels up to it, do you feel up to standing in front of that or not?
I could stand.
Well, let's go. Let's go do it because we want everyone to hear what.
But you're not going to speak.
I'll speak. She does not want to speak. It's quite unlike Barbara.
When she was younger, she spoke.
All right, Mr. City Attorney, I would love for you to read this proclamation.
This is a proclamation honoring the 100th birthday of Mrs. Dorothy Engstrand Blum. Whereas Dorothy Engstrand Blum was born on November 23rd, 1923, to Ruth Baring Engstrand and Harry Oscar Engstrand in Brooklyn, New York, and whereas Dorothy was 3.5 years old when Charles Lindbergh flew nonstop across the Atlantic. She was 7 years old when Lindbergh's son was kidnapped and remembers the fear that the public felt. She was afraid to go to sleep. In 1940, Dorothy graduated from Columbia High School in Maplewood, New Jersey with honors, lettering in 4 varsity sports: swimming, basketball, volleyball, and field hockey. Whereas after graduating from high school, Dorothy attended William and Mary in Virginia, but after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, she returned to New York City and started nursing school at Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center because nurses were needed for the war. And whereas in 1945, World War II ended, and 1 year later, she received her Bachelor of Science and Registered Nurse degrees from Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center, and it was here that she met her husband, Dr. Gaston Eugene Blum, or Jeb, and on July 20th, 1946, Dorothy and Jeb were married at Madison Avenue Presbyterian Chapel in New York City. Whereas in 1957, the Blum family moved to Denver, and Dorothy was a school nurse for the Denver public school system while also raising 4 children. She was highly active in the PTA and the League of Women Voters. In 1984, Dorothy and Jeb moved back to Boston, where she was a nurse for the South Shore Medical Center. She was a champion for poor families and assisted them with raising their children. In 1991, after watching a documentary on Romania, She and Jeb traveled to the country volunteering to help handicapped children placed in orphanages. And in 1999, Dorothy and Jeb visited South Africa to learn about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to apply this method to helping traumatized, abused children in Boston. And whereas in January 2016, Dorothy and Jeb moved to Hoover, Alabama to be closer to their daughter Barbara. That same year, Jeb passed away. He and Dorothy were married for 69 years. Wow. Whereas Dorothy has 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and 17 great-grandchildren. Dorothy enjoyed a family reunion with 40 family members in Estes Park, Colorado in May of 2021. Whereas Dorothy turned 100 years old on November 23rd, 2023, she continues to believe in liberty, justice, and fairness to all. Now, therefore, we, Mayor Frank B. Burcato, and the City Council President, John B. Lyda of Hoover, Alabama, and on behalf of the Hoover City Council, do hereby honor and celebrate the life of Mrs. Dorothy Engstrom Blum and wish her a very happy 100th birthday.
She said her life sounds better in print.
Before we do, let's go ahead so we don't have to do it twice. We want to present you with the key to the city.
Thank you very much.
Tonight we have with us in the chamber representatives from Alabama Power Company who are here to give us an update on the project of energy savings. I'd like to call on Kimberly Jackson, who is here, to introduce her team and provide us with an update. Ms. Jackson, welcome.
Thank you, President Lyda. Good evening. As President Lyda said, I'm Kimberly Jackson, Community Relations Manager in the Birmingham Division of Alabama Power. And our Birmingham Division team, in partnership with our Energy Services colleagues, entered into an agreement back in 2021 for energy conservation measures with the City of Hoover. And that brings me to why we are here tonight. Mayor Burcato asked that we provide an update of that project to date. Although we will come back in the first quarter of 2024 per the contract terms and provide a full official update, we're going to provide a just brief overview of that performance again tonight. I have several members of our Alabama Power team who are responsible for this project, but in particular I have Damian Fantroy with me, who's the project manager for this project, and he will provide further details on the performance of the project to date. I will give it over to Damian. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thanks to the City Council for having us here. As Kimberly stated, we entered into this contract with the city back in February of 2021. The contract was signed in. High level, the contract consists of 12 succinct sub-scopes of project that we call ECMs, Energy Conservation Measures. The first one was placed into service back in May of 2021, which was water conservation measures across the city in multiple facilities. Since then, we completed the last ECM in July of 2021. Over that 1.2 years, we've saved the city roughly $1.8 million. Per the contract, our performance contract year from year to year, we are committed to saving the city roughly $800K. So over that 1.2 years, the contract value for a guaranteed savings is $1 million. So we've exceeded that savings roughly $800,000 over the 1.2 years. As Kimberly alluded to, we will have a formal report for the city per the contract in the first quarter of 2024. Upon that time, we will give detailed information on how much each energy savings have saved the city. Again, there is 12 succinct scope of works that we're responsible for across the city in detail. So we'll have that report to present to the city in the first quarter of 2024. That's all I have, unless there is any questions, specific questions, just anyone might have further detail.
Any member of the body have a question tonight? The main presentation at the end of the contract period, you said would be in when? First quarter?
First quarter 2024. We have a detailed printed report to provide the city as well, and that report would include each energy conservation measure in detail, what's consistent, what equipment and what buildings were included in each one of those measures, and how much in particular dollar amount savings we procured over the term of the performance year.
We'd like to invite you back at that time to share the results of that and to allow for some Q&A as well. Very good.
Thanks.
Just one question I have. Through that time, will that be inclusive of all of the conversions in every building, or is still something left built out in the project remaining?
Yeah, that would include all the projects.
So it'll be complete? Okay.
Right. We completed the total project July of last year. So everything is completed. And now we're just gathering and calculating those savings. So we'll have that report for the city in the first quarter next year.
When was it started? When was this project started?
We signed the contract in February 2021.
Okay, so a little bit over, okay. So the same amount of time. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
We'll now move to our agenda. We have a regular agenda tonight, so we will be walking through each item as we would for a work session and asking each department head for the respective items to come forward for discussion purposes. We'll begin with item number 1, the payment of bills. Entertain a motion for approval.
Mr. President, I move to pay the bills.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to pay our bills. Any questions or comments from members of the body? Any comments tonight from members of the public? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Item number 2 is Resolution 8009-23. Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an application with Alabama Power for additional power services for a new traffic signal being installed at Chapel Road and Gwen Simmons School.
Hang on. Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 8009-23.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Mr. Reeves.
Yes, sir, that's correct. This is just for power service to that new traffic signal. We anticipate having that signal in operation by the first of the year.
Any questions for Mr. Reeves? Mr. Reeves reminded me the law states that it has to flash for a certain period of time.
Yes, sir. We will flash it for 7 days. Their plan is to flash it over the school break, over the Christmas break,
Okay.
and then we'll activate it once school resumed in 1st of January.
I know the parents and faculty and staff at Gwen and Simmons anxiously await the operation of this light, as do the SRO officers, I believe. This will be a welcome change. Thank you, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Reeves. Any additional questions or comments from the body? Any comments from the public tonight? Hearing and seeing none, we have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Item number 3 is a resolution 7092-23. Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement with ClassTran for certain public transportation services in the city of Hoover.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 7092-23.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Ms. Cobal?
Good evening. This is a simple annual agreement that we have each year with ClassTran to provide public transportation services for elderly and disabled citizens.
This is an annual agreement that we approve and consider each year. Any questions for Ms. Cobal from the body? Any comments from the public tonight on the class tran item? Hearing and seeing none, we have a motion and second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. Ms. Cobal, if you'll stick around for item number 4, resolution 8010-23, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute a community service agreement with Meals on Wheels of Central Alabama for the provision of meals and other services to residents of the city of Hoover.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 8010-23.
Second.
Have a motion and second for approval. Ms. Cobal.
Again, this is just an annual agreement we have with Meals on Wheels of Central Alabama, and this is, again, to provide meals to our senior citizens.
Any questions for Ms. Cobal on Meals on Wheels? Any comments from the public tonight? We have a motion and second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. We have resolution number 8011-23, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute a facilities solutions agreement with Centos.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 8011-23.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Mr. Franklin?
Yes, this is an agreement for Centos to provide uniforms for the Public Works Department, Park Maintenance Department, as well as Building Services.
Any comments or questions for Mr. Franklin from the members tonight? Any comments from the public tonight? Hearing and seeing none, have a motion and second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. We'll now move to item number 6, resolution number 8007-23, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes Mayor Brocato to execute an agreement with Shelby County, Alabama for the provision of emergency medical transport services in the county as provided for in Exhibit A to the agreement.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 8007-23.
Second. Have a motion and second. Chief Bentley.
Thank you, Mr. President, Council. This is an annual agreement as well for agreement with Shelby County for EMS transport. Shelby County gives us $1,000 per square mile of area that we cover, which calculates to $22,450. That money is used toward restocking and fuel and supplies. This is the 3rd year we've done this.
A simple renewal here. Any questions or comments for Chief Bentley?
Chief, so this service, we provide this service as well too, right?
This is what Shelby County provides to us.
Yeah, but we provide it as well too.
This is kind of like, it kind of subsidizes our automatic aid with other departments.
Okay.
And all we have to do is just agree that we're going to help transport patients that are outside our city limits in the county. And they give us the money that is the number of the $1,000 per square mile that we cover.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions from the body for Chief? Any comments from the public tonight? We have a motion and second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it, the motion carries. Item number 7 is resolution number 8008-23, Mr. Corley.
This resolution authorizes the Birmingham Water Works to install 7 fire hydrants at the following locations in the city of Hoover. 2 along the extension of Beverly Parkway, 2 along Linwood Road, 2 along Beckett Lane, and 1 along Oakville Road.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 8008-23.
Second. I have a motion and second. Chief.
Thank you. There are 7 hydrants to be installed in the Everett community, and all the hydrants have been approved and are in proper order.
Any questions or comments from the chief on the fire hydrants? As per usual, Councilor Murphy will be abstaining from the discussion and the vote. Gentlemen, any questions or comments from the chief? Anyone in the public like to comment tonight? We have a motion and second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The motion carries. Item number 8, resolution number 8012-23, Mr. Corley.
This resolution consents to the collateral assignment of the Healthcare Resources LLC Development Agreement to a lender under the terms and conditions set forth in the consent of the City of Hoover, Alabama, to that collateral assignment document. Attached to the resolution is the Exhibit A, and authorizes Mayor Rocato to execute the consent as well as any other documents necessary for such assignment.
Mr. President, I move for approval of resolution number 8012-23.
Second. With motion and second, I'd like to invite Mr. Knighton down to give us an update. Mr. Corley, okay.
So this is typical of development agreements. The city is simply consenting to the developer assigning their interest in that to their lender as part of their loan transaction. Happens in most of these development agreements. I think sometimes there's a single asset entity that owns the property that's the borrower on the loan, and so the lender wants that development agreement to be assigned as additional collateral for their loan.
Any questions or comments from Mr. Corley on that item? Any comments from the public tonight? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The ayes have it, motion carried. We now have a first reading for Resolution 8006-23. Mr. Corley.
This resolution grants conditional use approval for the property located at 120 Doug Baker Boulevard, Suite 110, for use as tobacco retail sales and vape shop pursuant to the conditions listed in Exhibit 2 to the resolution. A public hearing is set for December 18th, 2023.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Mr. President, the Planning Commission met in their November regular meeting to consider this case. This is a conditional use for a tobacco and vape shop located in the Lee Branch development off of Doug Baker Boulevard. And the Planning Commission voted to recommend favorably on this application to this body at said meeting, with the condition that is shown in Exhibit 2, that the signage would advertise the business as H&H Smoke Shop and Vape. This particular location does meet all of the distance requirements in the zoning ordinance for a smoke and vape shop.
This is a first reading only, so no action will be taken tonight. We will gather again on the 18th, where we'll have a second reading, and Mr. Martin will be back at that time to brief us on the item and potential vote. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Any questions or comments from the council tonight? I would like to point out the sad passing of Miss Sarah Perry. Miss Sarah passed away over the weekend, and there's a lot of great citizens who made an impact, a generational impact on Hoover. Not many in the category with Sarah Perry. She was a special indeed lady, and she will be terribly, terribly missed. Her resume extends far beyond what I will share, but we all knew her as someone who was very involved with the Bluff Park Art Show for many, many years. She was very involved. In fact, we recently named her as a lifetime member of the Hoover Beautification Board, which was incredibly timely and appropriate. And she and her late husband, Jim, were faithful members of Bluff Park United Methodist Church. On Wednesday of this week, on December 6th at 11:30, there will be a memorial service for Miss Perry at Bluff Park United Methodist Church, and I know the family would welcome each of us there. I also want to mention that outside the building tonight, we have a brand new Rescue 8 is here, and you are more than welcome to get a first-hand tour of Rescue 8. Rescue 8 will go into service, I think, next week, Chief?
It's in service now.
It's in service, good. But Rescue 11 is also here. We ordered both of those. They're brand new, and they are incredibly state-of-the-art. So if you'd like to look at it before you get to ride in it as a patient, you're welcome to. Any comments from the audience tonight? Chief?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for saying that. On behalf of the fire department, we'd like to say thank you to the council and the mayor's office for your continued support. As he said, Rescue 8 is out in the parking lot. You can see it. It's assigned to the Greystone Fire Station 8. And Rescue 11 is out there. It's assigned to Station 11 in the Trace Crossings community. And some of you were able to see Rescue 11 a couple of months ago when it went in service. And Rescue 8 came in last week. We put it in service on Friday. And so we're excited about that. And then there's a third unit that is ordered that will be here sometime in March. And that unit will go to Rescue 4 just down the street here on Municipal Lane. So we just want to say thank you for your continued support from council and mayor's office for funding these units. They're desperately needed, and we'll put them to good work. Thank you.
Also, I want to recognize Mr. President Emeritus Gene Smith's here. Mr. Smith, always a pleasure having you here in the chamber. Well, that's all for the evening. We appreciate your attendance and we're adjourned.